As an industry leader, I think we've been incredibly privileged to have an access to a wide range of information, a wide engagement with extraordinary people, and of course the ability to work with fantastic clients. That's given us a wealth of knowledge that we want to do something with. So we've taken this opportunity, we've positioned ourselves as trusted advisors, and now we're going to come to you through a new media. And that media is going to be this type of video-style communication. Something new, something that gives us an opportunity to give you a short, sharp introduction to a new concept, or maybe a review of an old concept. Also, I think perhaps a perspective, a Mindcore perspective on what we see happening in the industry today. Now, to make this work, what we really need is you to help us. So the appeal, or the request, if you will, is please give us feedback. Help us to make this better. We would value your suggestions in terms of concepts that would be valuable to you, and also feedback on the value that you took out of this interim executive point of view. So an interim executive is kind of like having a tap. You can turn it on, you can turn it off. But what you're bringing on board is somebody that can deliver results. Typically someone who's had 15 or even 20 years of executive experience in industry. Someone who would typically be overqualified for the role that you need at this point in time. Someone who's going to parachute in, hit the ground running, but have had the depth, the knowledge, and the presence to take on board that organizational risk. So why does it differ to perhaps a consulting assignment? Consultants offer great value. They bring in outside knowledge, I suppose not so different to what an interim executive would, but the one thing they can't take on is risk. An interim executive is someone that can hit the ground running, overqualified, depth, experience, often a great speciality of skill, but they work and they have that psychological contract with your organization, which means that they're working with your best interests at heart. There could perhaps be many reasons or many opportunities to use an interim executive, but there are 5 key times or key reasons that I'd like to highlight for you. The first is actually time itself. When you don't have the time, perhaps there's been an unexpected occurrence at a board level. There could have been many causes or many reasons, but if you've got to bring in top talent, if you can't afford as an organization to carry a period of time without that executive role filled, then an interim executive is an option for you. Resource. There could be a project. You may have a temporary assignment where the capacity or even sometimes the capability of the executive team is stretched, or you have a 6-month due diligence assignment and you've got to bring in someone that can hit the ground running, that can make a difference immediately and carry that through to the end, but it's not a cost that you want to continue with. It's not a fixed cost that you really want to add on to the organization. Skill. Our interim executives would typically have had in excess of 15 or even 20 years of executive experience. That's on top of good qualifications, good depth in particular areas. So we're bringing skills into organizations. Now, that gives you an opportunity to provide a temporary or a short-term skill solution, but also a longer-term opportunity. If you are going through an upskilling program, if you have a group of executives that would better learn through hands-on leadership, then an interim executive could also be the right assignment for you. They're at the end of their career. They're typically financially independent. They're not looking to join your organization to start a new career. In fact, their career now is the ability to move through organizations and offer experience, perhaps leave a legacy. So when you think of upskilling, we have executives who have an absolute passion for sharing, for developing and upskilling your organization. And perhaps one of the reasons there is the fact that they really don't carry a political agenda. Change. Now, change can happen in many, many ways, but one of the most profound ways to realize it is sometimes to bring in new experiences, to shake the tree slightly and bring different perspectives on the same or different problems. An interim executive is often the right solution for you if you have a change or a change-related issue that you're trying to deal with at this point in time. again, in those 5 areas, we find that executives, proven track record, with a level of maturity, 15 to 20 years of executive experience, are the types of people with the goal orientation that clients value in an interim executive assignment.